News Update. I'm Briana Flynn.
And I'm Caitlyn Flynn. We've got a lot in store, so let's jump right into tonight's top story. David Petraeus very abruptly resigned from his position as director of the CIA Tuesday. Petraeus is a four-star general and fought in both Iraq and Afghanistan. His letter to his colleagues explaining his stepping down said, quote, "After being married for over 37 years, I showed extremely poor judgment by engaging in an extramarital affair. Such behavior is unacceptable both as a husband and as the leader of an organization such as ours." According to a U.S. official, the FBI had been investigating and had an idea that Petraeus was involved with his biographer, Paula Broadwell. The FBI was not investigating for his wrongdoing, but just for the concern that he could potentially be blackmailed. Broadwell spent a year in Afghanistan interviewing Petraeus for the book she co-authored. It is still not clear whether Broadwell is the woman whom he has admitted to having an affair. Other sources close to the CIA director state that the woman involved in the affair was not under Petraeus's command. She was not a member of the armed forces and not a CIA employee. Representative Peter King, chairman of the House Committee on Homeland Security, described Petraeus as, quote, "a true American patriot," and his resigning as a, quote, "real loss for the country and a real loss for the CIA." It is also rumored that classified information was given to Broadwell, leading to more suspicion that she was, in fact, his mistress.
Surprisingly, this is not the only sexual scandal to be in the news this week. The man known as the voice of Elmo is denying claims that he had an inappropriate relationship with an underage boy. Sesame Street Workshop has found the allegations against Kevin Clash unsubstantiated. In June, the workshop heard from a then 23-year-old man who claimed he was just 16 years old when his relationship with then 45-year-old puppeteer began. Clash insists that the allegations are false and was granted a leave of absence from Sesame Street to take action and protect his reputation. In a statement to TMZ, Clash said that his relationship with the accuser was, quote, "between two consenting adults, and I am deeply saddened that he is trying to make it into something it was not." Sesame Street's investigation into the claims found no instances of wrongdoing, but they did discipline Clash for exercising poor judgment and violating company policy. Now, is it just me, or does it seem like every other day there's a new scandal in the news that's a sex scandal?
Seriously, I feel like celebrities that haven't had a scandal are definitely in the minority these days. It's all over the news, and eventually all these people do end up getting caught.
I know, it's terrible. They should just cool it already.
Even Elmo is not safe.
I know, seriously.
Well, sticking with more conventional news, here's the highs and lows with Mike Smiter, giving you the weekly forecast and tips on surviving it.
Thanks, Caitlyn. Well, the weather's been, for lack of a better term, confused lately. These past 2 weeks, we've had fall, winter, and even spring. Beginning with Hurricane Sandy, she has definitely left her mark. Families in Long Island and New Jersey alike are struggling to regain power, as well as cable and internet. And as if the superstorm wasn't enough, only mere days later, a nor'easter hits the same areas here in Poughkeepsie. There was accumulation of about 4 inches of snow last Wednesday night into Thursday morning. However, the only days later, the temperature rose into the 60s for 3 days. Talk about your climate change. Apparently, nature is having a few mood swings this month. Over the next week, though, all this jumping around will end. Let's take a look at our local 7-day forecast. The rest of this week is looking bright but cold. Grab your scarves and sunglasses, Marist, because here are the numbers. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 29. The humidity will stay high for the rest of the week, reaching 70% tonight and keep rising until after Thanksgiving. Friday will be mostly sunny and high of 49, a low of 31. Saturday is looking a little better with sunny forecast, but with the high as the same as Friday. Closing out the weekend, we will see the mostly cloudy Sunday with a high of 47 and a low of 35. Next week is not looking too great. It's going to be cloudy with a chance of showers all week, making for a possibly wet Thanksgiving break. Don't forget to pack your umbrellas. Temperatures will stay pretty much the same on Monday at 49 and stay around that on Tuesday and Wednesday. Turkey Day will be the same temperature-wise, but a bit more humid at 49 degrees and 70% humidity. Thanksgiving would be best enjoyed indoors. That's all I have here with the highs and lows report. With your weekly weather, I'm Mike Snyder.
While you're enjoying your rainy Thanksgiving and after you're stuffed from all that turkey, you may be considering taking a nap. As a recent study shows, this little dose may be not as bad for you as people misconceive. Can't decide whether or not that mid-morning nap will get you going? New research shows that taking a nap during the day can have major health benefits. While you're resting, the brain remains active, but different from when you're awake. Scientist Andrei Medvedev has found that while sleeping, the right side of the brain is significantly more active than the left. He suspects our minds are, quote, doing some mental housekeeping, organizing, and processing information. But that's not all a cat nap can do. Levels of cortisol, a stress hormone, are cut in half after sleeping, especially if you had trouble sleeping the night before. Director of Harvard's Center for Sleep and Cognition, Dr. Robert Stickold, says that when done right, naps may, quote, protect brain circuits from overuse and help you consolidate new information. A quick 15-minute nap can help you feel more awake even after a sleepless night. For the busy college student or overworked businessman, a quick afternoon snooze may be just what the doctor ordered. And this definitely makes me feel better about all of the naps that I take here at school.
Oh, definitely. I don't think I could get through the day without taking a nap.
Absolutely not. Especially after 8 a.m.s. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh gosh, those are the worst. I think my naps might be a little bit longer than 15 minutes.
No,
just
same,
a little,
definitely.
In other health news, for years, doctors have been looking for links that will help them better understand why some children develop autism and others don't. So far, there are many theories, but no concrete answers. But every clue, scientists say, will eventually lead to a cause and possibly a cure. Now, doctors are finding more clues about how a mother's health may have something to do with her child developing autism. Here's Shelby Lynn with today's Health Minute.
New evidence out this week finds children whose mothers had the flu or a fever lasting more than a week while they were pregnant may be at a higher risk of developing autism. The large Danish study looked at nearly 97,000 children born between 1997 and 2003. Their mothers were screened to see if they had any infections, used antibiotics, or had long periods of fever during their pregnancies. Researchers found no association between autism and minor infections, such as respiratory ailments or urinary and genital infections. But when it came to influenza during pregnancy, the risk of being diagnosed with an autism spectrum disorder before the age of 3 was twice as high for those children compared to toddlers whose mothers did not have the flu during their pregnancies. And if the mothers had a fever lasting more than a week while carrying a baby, that child had a 3 times greater risk of developing autism than other children. Researchers also found mothers who took antibiotics during their pregnancy had a small risk of having children with autism. Investigators say there may be statistical shortcomings in their data, and more research needs to be done to better understand the connection. For today's Health Minute, I'm Shelby Lynn.
Making other medical news is a girl who bit off more than she could chew, kind of. On October 25th, 16-year-old Vera Oliphant from San Diego was searching for a cell phone signal to call her mother when she accidentally stepped into a nest of rattlesnakes and was bitten 6 times. Vera spent 4 days in the ICU of Sharp Grossmont Hospital, where she was given 24 vials of antivenom. Oliphant said, quote, "I didn't see them until I already stepped on the nest and felt them biting me." Oliphant claims that her vision immediately started to go away. She first saw the snakes blend into the leaves, and then her vision became filled with black spots until she passed out. Although snake bites in the United States usually are not fatal, there is still a large group of people that die from them each year. Fortunately, Oliphant has recovered and returned to her classes the following Monday. Oliphant would like to advise us all to not watch our step and not to go crazy looking for a cell phone signal unless it really is an emergency.
Speaking of texting, we have a study that just may shock you. Could texting be going the way of the landline? Not yet, but according to one telecommunications analyst, text messaging is on the decline. For the first time in U.S. history, the number of monthly texts fell. Now that's not saying much, considering the average cell phone customer now sends 675 texts a month, compared to the 700 they were sending earlier in the year. But apparently we're not communicating less, just finding cheaper ways to do it. According to analyst Chichan Sharma, he says that more than half of cell phones in the U.S. are smartphones. So rather than texting, more of us are using apps like Skype, Google Voice, and Facebook Messenger, or getting text services built into our phones like Apple's iMessage and BlackBerry's Messenger. I know I have the iPhone, and I would say 95% of the texts I send are iMessage because, of course, all my friends have the iPhone too.
Right, of course. I mean, I could totally get rid of my cell phone plan like for text messaging, and I would be totally fine.
Right, right. And it does come in handy too if you don't have service in a classroom.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can use the Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm. If that news didn't shock you, this next story is sore too. The U.S. is expected to be the world's largest oil producer by around 2020, kicking Saudi Arabia out of the top spot. And the U.S. will be energy independent 10 years after that. That's according to a new report from the International Energy Agency. America's rise to the top is credited to a recent resurgence in oil and gas production, and the fact that newer vehicles are more fuel efficient.
While the U.S. may be finding future affluence internationally, others are not finding the same fortune. There is more than just money at stake here. In extreme economic times, some Greeks are turning to extremist politics. Openly fascist parties are enjoying more support than ever, and the most vulnerable communities are being turned into scapegoats. Diana Magne has the report, which some viewers may find upsetting.
Despite its frightening and sometimes violent presence on the streets, Golden Dawn is now Greece's third largest party. It has 18 seats in the parliament.
We may do the Hitler salute, but at least our hands are clean.
The party campaigns with the slogan, "Clear the filth." The filth, its code for African and Asian migrants.
Καταρχήν, εγώ δεν συμπαθώ τους ξένους γιατί...
I don't like foreigners because they cause a lot of trouble. They scare people. They rape women. They kill for no reason. Many people blame Golden Dawn for being racist, but we're not racist. We're nationalists.
At a free emergency clinic in central Athens, a string of patients seek help for racial attacks.
What are you doing here, my bro? Why you are out of the country? Go from here. Go to hell. Then they take me from behind and I fall down.
Is it because they hate foreigners? Is that why?
Exactly. It's obvious.
We meet the head of the Tanzanian Community Centre, Francis Williams. In September, a mob attacked his centre and several shops on the same street. A terrified neighbour shot this video.
Yeah, they are very wicked people. She was saying, well done, the police, for protecting you.
No.
For protecting them, protecting Golden Dawn.
Yeah,
and then offering them drinks.
Yeah.
Williams points out how police stood by whilst black-clad youth smash windows. The community centre was ripped apart.
We expect maybe the police could have given us a hand, to at least confront these people, at least arrest some people.
But nothing.
Nothing, of course. Just looking at them, and that's why we think that the police are part of them.
Police spokesman Christos Manoura said he would investigate any video which suggested officers had turned a blind eye that night. In a written exchange, I asked him whether the police had failed to remove pockets of fascism within the police force. He wrote, "Unlawful behaviours, wherever they come from within the Greek police force, are not and will not be tolerated." A new police unit is being set up, tasked with confronting racist violence. Undaunted, Golden Dawn is now policing whole neighbourhoods itself. This is one of two squares in the centre of Athens that we're told is pretty much controlled by Golden Dawn. Since 2009, they've made it very difficult for immigrants to sit here, to stay here, to sleep here. And that's maybe why you now see so many children playing in this square, why so many Greek people say they're better protected by Golden Dawn than they are by the police. Elderly supporters are not ashamed to show their political colours.
Golden Dawn saved us. Without them, we wouldn't be able to go out of our houses. They came in groups and chased the foreign people, who were criminals, of course. And right now, we are able to sit on these benches in peace.
But there are also the law-abiding residents of migrant origin who've long considered Greece their home and who now live in a state of permanent fear.
How long have you been in Greece?
I've been here for the last 12 years.
And will you stay?
No way. I have... My dream of being here, I think, has been vanished. I feel I have to go back home.
Hours after we leave, his centre is attacked again, the door blown away with a stick of dynamite. Such is the ugly mood in what was the birthplace of democracy. Diana Magne, CNN, Athens.
Other international turmoil is happening in the Middle East. The Israeli military says militants have fired more than 115 rockets from Gaza towards Israel since Saturday. This video, posted online by the Popular Resistance Committee, purports to show a direct hit on an Israeli jeep. Meanwhile, Israeli airstrikes on targets in Gaza continued early Tuesday, according to the military.
Just this past Sunday, Syrian dissidents opposing the government united as the National Coalition Forces of the Syrian Revolution. Their main goal was, of course, to defeat the regime of President al-Assad and only accept the new formation of a new government. However, the Syrian government stated on Tuesday that toppling al-Assad will be impossible. Information Minister al-Zobi claimed that, quote, "there is no power in the entire world that can defeat Syria," and the death toll amidst the civil war continues to rise, with at least 48 more deaths occurring on Tuesday. The UN is working to provide aid to those who were able to flee Syria, as the amount of refugees has now reached over 400,000. The U.S. government has acknowledged that the coalition is a representative of the Syrian people, but has not recognized it as a legitimate government.
You probably know by now that the U.S. combat mission in Afghanistan is set to end in 2014. But not every troop will be coming home. Defense Secretary Leon Panetta told reporters Tuesday that the administration is still working out some post-pullout details. He says a decision should be made in the coming weeks about how many troops will remain in Afghanistan to help with security training and to conduct counterterrorism mission against al-Qaeda. Right now, about 67,000 U.S. troops are still in the country. It's crazy what's going on, like, internationally these days.
Right, and I just hope that Obama can really pull together his foreign policy and make sure the U.S. stays strong while still giving its aid to other countries.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that he'll be able to maintain good relationships with all the other countries.
Hopefully. Well, in more uplifting news, this next story may have a few people jumping for joy. Listen up, Bieber fans. Justin Bieber may be back in the market. And a fabric of movie history goes on sale. The shocking price tag of Judy Garland's Oz dress plus 007 crushes his box office competitors. Caitlyn Kim has all the details in today's Hollywood Minute.
They've been the power couple of teen pop, Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez, seen and photographed together for nearly 2 years. But you'll be seeing these two more apart than together. According to People.com, Bieber and Gomez broke up more than a week ago. But Biebs fans were already seeing the writing on Bieber's Twitter wall. 2 weeks ago, the 18-year-old singer tweeted this photo with a caption, "Just me." It's an iconic image in movie history. Dorothy Gale dancing down the Yellow Brick Road, off to see the wizard in this blue gingham dress. The signature dress worn by Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz was sold at auction. The auction house called the final bid price unprecedented, a whopping $480,000. 007 is back with a vengeance. Skyfall exploded onto the big screen this weekend at #1, banking $87.8 million in the U.S. alone, the best debut in James Bond history. The animated movie Wreck-It Ralph and action thriller Flight round out the top 3. Meanwhile, Steven Spielberg's Lincoln may be only playing in 11 theaters, but it grossed $900,000, the most per theater of any film at this weekend's box office. For Hollywood Minute, I'm Caitlyn Kim.
Speaking of relationships, if you are married or dating, your relationship may have moved to a new level that you didn't even know about. Facebook has taken information about users who are in a relationship and created a page for you, whether you want one or not. The page details your shared posts, events, and photos you were both tagged in. Facebook calls it a new tool, but one user said she was ready to break up with her husband on Facebook just to end the shared page. Did you hear about this? This is so weird.
I know, I actually haven't heard about this yet, but I'll have to I'll check it out. Me and my boyfriend's page, apparently, that I didn't even know about.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird. I feel like Facebook just keeps getting creepier and creepier.
Oh,
honestly.
absolutely. Well, that pretty much sums it up for tonight. I'm Caitlyn Flynn.
And I'm Briana Flynn. Thanks for stopping by.